All right, cats and kittens in the Geek Army, I got some spoilers here from Anime News Network for the upcoming Dragon Ball Super episode 69 from December 4th. If you do not want to be spoiled on Dragon Ball Super episode 69, this is your warning. It's going to be a very interesting episode, and I've got a lot of insight for you guys about certain things that you may or may not be aware of. So we're going to get into it right here. Anime News Network, of course, got their information from the official Dragon Ball Super website. So this is not really a spoiler, like a leak or anything like that. This is just actual promotional for what's going to happen here. Episode 69 of Dragon Ball Super is going to air December 4th, like I said. And it will feature the return of Arale to Dragon Ball. We haven't seen her. She had a small cameo in Super a few episodes ago. I think it was the Goku taking care of Pan episode, if I remember correctly. But we haven't seen her in a while since, well, Dragon Ball. And so I wanted to kind of fill you guys in on what we're going to see and kind of explain to you guys some things that you may or may not know about Arale. Now, the episode 69 is called Goku vs. Arale, a nonsense battle will end the world. And it's going to be a slice of life, in between episode. I don't believe this is going to really build to a major arc in the future, but you never really know. This is all going to be just one big kind of comedy gag thing. And after I took a look at this article from Anime News Network, it is clear that this is going to be a 22-minute love fest to the Dr. Slump story, the Dr. Slump manga, Dr. Slump anime. Now, Arale, for those of you who remember, was in Dragon Ball way back during the Red Ribbon Army arc, the General Blue portion of it, where Goku went to Penguin Village in a crossover that really didn't make too much sense. It was more so just fan service for that era. And Goku met, of course, the residents of Penguin Village, and Arale is one of them. Now, Arale is from Dr. Slump, which is Toriyama's manga prior to Dragon Ball. So before Toriyama started Dragon Ball in '84, Arale was the kingfish of Shonen Jump for Toriyama Works, and this was actually the manga that made Toriyama a millionaire. A lot of people think that Toriyama made money on Dragon Ball, and he did. I mean, there's no question about it. But before Dragon Ball even started, Dr. Slump was massive, and because we never got an English dub of Dr. Slump, I mean, there is a very rare Harmony Gold dub, but Funimation and Saban, none of the big companies ever dubbed Dr. Slump, so as a result of that, it's one of those things where a lot of people in the West aren't familiar with Dr. Slump, and actually finding the episode subtitled is just as hard. I mean, this is not easy, and I myself have never seen every episode of Dr. Slump myself. And there's actually two Dr. Slump series. There's an anime, there's two anime, there's one manga, which you can, I think the manga is in English. You can actually buy the manga on eBay and places like that. But the anime, there's two of them. There's an 80s one and a 1997 remake one that actually started after GT ended in Japan. So, as we go through some of these spoilers here, we're going to get into the actual plot right here, and I'll kind of give you guys a skinny. According to Anime News Network, the episode will center on an event called the World Invention Award, which honors the best innovations in the world. The greatest scientists, including Bulma, gather for the ceremony. Goku is working part-time as a security guard in the event, and Hercule's presenting the award. That's weird they're calling him Hercule here, because this is obviously not dubbed yet and won't be for a while, but it's Mr. Satan. We should already know that. The award goes to Senbei Norimaki of Penguin Town. As Norimaki's presenting the invention, Dr. Mashirito attacks. Now, let me give you guys some context here. Senbei Norimaki is the actual main character of Dr. Slump, and he created Arale. Arale is actually an android. She's not human. And Arale is very powerful. Arale can crack the earth in half. I can't really sit here and try to, with this video, go in too deep as far as power scaling goes, but her ability to crack the earth in half puts her ahead of a lot of villains. Maybe up until Vegeta. I mean, when I think about it, she might be, and I'm talking about like Vegeta from the Vegeta Nappa, the Saiyan saga, not Vegeta like now, obviously. So she's just really powerful, and Senbei Norimaki created her, and he's a scientist, and the whole Dr. Slump story is about the adventures of Senbei Norimaki and his wacky friends, including Arale. And it says here, as Noramaki's presenting the invention, Dr. Mashirito attacks. Now, Dr. Mashirito is one of the main villains of Dr. Slump. He is an evil scientist who creates androids. Sounds familiar, right? No, but Dr. Mashirito is the main antagonist of Dr. Slump, and he never really died. So, Dr. Slump is pretty much a comedy series. It's very different than Dragon Ball, in that Dragon Ball was kind of, martial arts kind of comedy stuff, whereas Arale, Dr. Slump, was more comedy sci-fi. That's kind of the same, those two different genres. So Mashirito is a pun on Torishima, which is actually Toriyama's editor for many, many years. A guy who Toriyama himself considered a grouch, so to speak. And continuing here, frustrated that he was not invited to the ceremony, he interrupts the proceedings, and for some reason Arale and Gachan are at his side. So why would Arale be on his side? Very interesting stuff. I'm wondering how they're going to cram it all into one episode, but again, Super's kind of known to cram things into episodes. It's going to be very interesting to see this, at least for somebody like me who's a Toriyama historian. But even though I'm a Toriyama historian, I still haven't seen all of Dr. Slump, for shame. I do wish that one day we got at least a subbed release. I'm not saying that Funimation has to dub it, but I would love to see the entire series. And pretty much the weird thing about this, guys, is that even though there was a crossover in Dr. Slump, I'm sorry, well there was, but even though there was a crossover in Dragon Ball where Goku met Arale way back in Dragon Ball, the world of Dr. Slump is actually not the same as the world of Dragon Ball. They're supposed to be two totally different continuities, because the world of Dr. Slump is based on the real world. They have actual continents like North America, South America, Europe, like the world we live in now. Whereas Dragon Ball is its own world called the Dragon World, where it's got kind of different, totally different continents and things like that. But recently in Dragon Ball Super, every time they show the world, it looks like our world. So I'm wondering if it's probably just an inconsistency, but I am wondering if they're trying to set Super in a different world or a different continuity. It's very, very strange, and really, we shouldn't even try to make sense of it, but this is the first time that we've actually seen Dr. Mashirito in Dragon Ball. We've seen Senbei Norimaki way back in the Penguin Village arc. For those of you guys who don't remember, go back and check Dragon Ball. Rewatch the General Blue episodes. I don't remember the episode numbers off the top of my head, but go back and watch those, and you'll have a real good idea of who Arale is. Plus, I'm going to leave a link in the description that will tell you more about Arale. I already did a video on it. So, it says right here pretty much what I already told you guys. Talking about Koyama. Mimi Koyama Mami Koyama, excuse me, is the actress who plays Arale. She's coming back, and like I said, we already saw her once, but this should be a fun episode, especially for the hardcore Toriyama fans and the hardcore fans of the series. I do just, of Dragon Ball, but I just wonder how many semi-casual or casual fans, and even if you're a hardcore Dragon Ball fan, you might not know who Arale is. So it's one of those things where I just wonder how people are going to react to it, but I hope they go in with an open mind and kind of understand the humor involved. I think it's going to be very funny and a lot of fun. Anyways, thanks for watching this little update video. I will talk to you guys down the road, and I will review the episode December 4th when it airs. It'll be interesting to see what they do. So there you go. I will talk to you guys down the road.